Hello, welcome to Advanced Functions. This course is very important as a basis in mathematics for future courses as well as for entry into university. In this video, I'll give you a brief introduction to what the online course looks like and what you need to know. So first of all, in the introduction section, you'll see a course outline, an introduction test. Please do this test. It shows you what a test looks like, gives you an opportunity to practice uploading, and gives me important information about you. So please type in what your goals are for the course, maybe 80%, what you feel your strengths are, maybe you have great factoring skills, what your weaknesses are, maybe you're not so good at memorizing. When do you want to start the course, and when do you want to finish this course? Okay, if you haven't done it already, this would be a great place to upload a piece of photo ID and your transcripts. If you've already sent these to Blythe, then just use this as an opportunity to upload anything. So a great way to upload to TESS is through this button, and in this case, it's not letting me do it. That's too bad. Maybe I didn't set up this question properly. I will revisit it. So if you try to use this and it doesn't work, there's still an option to drop files. So you can just drag and drop or click and browse on your computer for the file you need to add. So suppose you're writing a test and you did some of your work on a piece of paper. You can take a picture of the work that you did, save it to your computer, and then upload it. Some people have managed to take the picture with their webcam on their laptop. Other people will take a picture with their smartphone, log on to the test near the end of the test on their smartphone, and then upload it. And that saves you from having to move it from your camera to your computer. If you have no other option but to do that, then take all the pictures of your work, move it over onto your computer, and then upload to the test. As much as possible though, you can type your solutions into this box. So if you're able to, you can do shortcuts for typing, like this means x to the power of 2, and you can also use the formatting that's available, x to the power of 2, like this. If you need a special character, like you want to do x is greater than or equal to 3, you could write it like this, or you could use the special character, greater than or equal to. Okay? If you have a very hard time typing and you're worried about the time, it's okay to write your solutions by hand and then upload them. If it's just simple typing with no mathematical formatting, like I ask you, please explain the definition of something, then you can easily type it into this location. Some questions are just true or false. Some questions require you to type in a numerical answer. If there are units, you can also type units. Suppose your answer was 2 meters per second. You can type 2 meters per second. There's matching questions where you have to choose the correct answer from the drop-down menu. And that's what a test looks like. At the end, you'll see what you've completed and what you haven't completed. When you're all done, submit and finish. For the introduction test, you can go back and have a look to see what it looks like. All the tests have solutions, so you can check out your solutions when you're done. Some things you may have to wait for the teacher to actually mark. Okay, going back to the introduction section. There's a guideline, a recommended guideline here for completing the course in a certain amount of time. A lot of people try to complete the course in 10 weeks or 20 weeks to try to match a semester or a half semester. So there's 2 timelines here. I recommend that you print one off and write down dates to try to keep yourself on track. So this is what it looks like. There's a check checklist so you can check off that you've done everything you need to do. And you could write the dates when you first start the course, write the dates, and maybe even give yourself a little reward if you meet all your deadlines. I give myself a reward of shopping for shoes when I meet my deadlines. Notice that the final exam is here, but 10 business days before the final exam, you have to complete the proctor application form. There's more information about this in the exam section. So this is just a timeline. You can start and end this course when you would like to, but some people have a great start and then slow down in the middle and then have a hard time fitting in the last couple of units before their deadline. So I'm giving you a timeline here to try to help you stay on track. There's a section with advice from past students. So far, there's no information in here because it is a new course, but hopefully there'll be some great advice soon from students who've completed the course. This is what a unit looks like. At the top, there's an explanation about what you're expected to learn. A picture just for fun. And the first thing are the notes for the unit. It's up to you to take notes the way that works best for you. I recommend that you either save or print the notes for the unit, and as you go through the lessons, you fill in the information, and all the notes for an entire unit are in one document. Okay? If you want to keep a digital copy instead of printing it, it's up to you. Do what you need to do to remember. Add more spaces if you want to, and add more information, more examples. It's up to you. Do what you need to do to be successful. Okay, so at the beginning of the unit, you're going to get your notes figured out, and then you're going to start lessons. The lessons correspond to the chapters in the textbook. So 1.1 is chapter 1, lesson 1, section 1. 1.2 is chapter 1, section 2, etc. A lesson looks like this. It remembers how far you've gotten into a lesson in the past. So I went through this one to 50%. The first page of a lesson shows you what we're going to be learning in the lesson. There's just an overall, we will understand the definition of a function and some other things, and there's the specific curriculum expectation. Next is, remember, what are we building this on? Do you remember these functions? What's this one called? And this one, and this one. Hopefully you remember they're linear, quadratic, and exponential. Correct. Then we get into the content of the lesson. And as you go through, usually at the bottom of each page, there's a question. And you have to submit the question to continue to the next page. If you can't figure it out, you can have the option to try again or to just move on. If you just move on, then you don't earn the points. If you go back, you have the chance to earn the points. At the end of the lesson, you will have something like 9 out of 10. This mark doesn't go on your final report card, but it is important for you to see how well you're doing and also for your teacher to see. So if all your lessons, if you keep getting 0 to 10, 0 to 10, 0 to 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and you, it can indicate to your teacher that you need some more help, and also to you. Okay. Near the end of a lesson, there's a summary of what you should put in your notes. There's the practice questions from the homework, and if you're still having difficulties, there are more resources. So some video lessons from online, the section in your textbook, some different material that I was able to find and add on. So for practice, we have our Nelson ebook. There are questions that you're expected to do from the textbook, and some sections also have a question that you are going to submit. At the end of the unit, there's a place to hand in the work. So you don't need to hand in all the questions, just the ones that say submit. when you do your homework, I strongly recommend that you always check your work. You can sub answers back into the original equation. You can do a quick sketch to make sure your answer makes sense. There's lots of things you can do to check your work, as well as checking the answer in the back of the book. I recommend that you use a different color to do the corrections. Then you can go back to your work later and you can see where you've had the most difficulty. If you're constantly making mistakes with factoring, that tells you you need to work on your factoring skills to be successful in this class. If you notice that you are always forgetting units, you can start to see a pattern, and then it'll help you remember on the test that you need to remember units. Okay, when you're done, you can click Finished. So there are several lessons with homework to do, and at the end you can hand in the homework. Just like on that practice test, it's very similar. You'll have a drop box, and I don't see the drop box. Oh, I see. There's a rubric, and you'll be marked based on a rubric. Mathematical concepts. Do your explanations show that you understand the important concept in the homework? Mathematical errors. Are you making a lot of mathematical errors? Not very many mathematical errors. Diagrams and sketches. Do they add to your solutions, make your solutions more clear? Are your diagrams appropriate and your sketches, are they correct? Mathematical terminology. So are you using the proper terms, the proper words to explain your work? Are your strategies and procedures correct? Are you using the most efficient procedure possible? And checking your work. So if you just check your work, you get an automatic 10 out of 10. It's a very good skill and you'll be rewarded for it. When you're ready to add your submission, if it's a very simple question, you just want to type it, you can type it in here. And then mostly you'll probably take pictures of your work if you did it in pencil and then drop it to here. Okay, and then you press Save Changes. I'm not really a student, so it probably doesn't do it for me. After you've completed the homework, please try to wait before you write the test until your homework has been corrected. Then if you're making some constant mistakes throughout the unit, you can get some feedback from the teacher before you write the test. There's a discussion that you can do in the meantime, and every discussion's a little bit different, but they all have a similar idea. So with the first one, I want you to use your body to model the parent graphs. So you're going to learn in this unit that the parent graphs, the simple graphs without transformations, are linear, quadratic, square root, reciprocal, absolute value, exponential, trigonometric. There's some other ones also, but these are the ones that we focus on. So I'm asking you to try to take a picture. Take 2 pictures of yourself and post it as a new topic. I say new discussion, but add new topic. Reply to 1 picture from another student's post. State the parent graph that you see in the picture. Make sure that if other people have replied to this post, that your answer is unique. So if you look at this, and if someone has already said this is a parabola, then you shouldn't also type parabola. But if you think maybe it's a different function, then it's okay for that to be your reply, that you say, oh, actually, I think it looks more like a, and say the function that you think it's more like. And that's the discussions. The discussions are marked. Okay, finally, you'll get to write your test. When you've completed your test and handed it in, you can go back and click on it and review your test, see what your mark is, see what the solutions are. Later on, after it's marked, you'll be able to click on grades and be able to see your marks. Right now we don't have Gradebook open to you. We're working on it and it should be open hopefully before the start of 2015. Okay, so the course has several different units. I suggest that you do them in order. There's skills you're going to learn in the first unit that you need to do the next units. In Unit 2, you do rates of change, and all of the units after that have some questions with rates of change. So it's assumed you've done it in order. If you really want to do it out of order, you can, but I don't think it's a good idea. The last section is the final exam and culminating activity. Before you write your final exam, you should have all of your work done. You're going to fill out the Proctor application form 10 business days before you want to write your exam and email it to Blythe. All the information you need is here. Okay? How do you communicate with your teacher? There's a couple of different ways to communicate. You can do messages, which are just a quick place for you to type in text. You could do an email. The nice thing about an email is that you can also add attachments. So if you were working on a question, you got halfway and you want help, take a picture of the question and add it as an attachment. If you would like your teacher to get back to you more quickly, including the question would be important, like section 1.2, number 5E, and actually summarize the question. That way your teacher can answer it without having to go onto the ebook, find the question, everything like that. So sometimes I find that I can answer a student's question on my smartphone easily if there's all the information. But if it doesn't have all the information, then I have to wait till I'm home and have my computer open. So just keep that in mind. A little more work for you, but you'll get a quicker response and it's nice for the teacher. Okay, well, good luck in advanced functions. I hope that you enjoy the course. This course can always be improved, I'm sure, in lots of places. If you ever see a typo or if you think that a few more examples would have been really helpful, please email Stacy Down or your current teacher and let the teacher know where you think the course needs some improvements. It would be much appreciated, just like we are always giving you constructive feedback. If you give us constructive feedback, we can continue to improve as teachers. Good luck and enjoy.